Open-world RPGs aren't just a game genre, they're a lifestyle. You step into a massive world where you can truly be whoever you want, explore at your own pace, and build your character exactly the way you like. And that's exactly why players like us love them so much. In this video, we're going to take a look at 22 open-world RPGs. And yeah, if you're ready, let's get started. A lot of people don't see Elden Ring as an RPG, but it absolutely has strong RPG elements, and right now it's one of the best Souls-like games you can play. From Software was already known for making great games, but with Elden Ring, they took things to another level. This isn't just a Souls game, it's a full-on exploration experience. Every hill, every castle, every road you see is waiting to be discovered by you. When you first step into Limgrave, the view alone makes you feel like, I need to explore this entire world. But just a few steps later, you run into your first major enemy, the Tree Sentinel. And when you realize you're not strong enough, you think, alright, I'll come back for you later. You explore the world, build your character, and the game constantly takes you to new and incredible locations that make you fall in love with it. From weapon affinities to build diversity, from the paths you take to the areas you uncover, everything about this game feels magical. Long story short, you absolutely have to play it. Hogwarts Legacy. We all grew up watching Harry Potter, and at some point, we all dreamed about going to Hogwarts and becoming a student there. Well, this game lets you do exactly that. Even though not everyone loved it when it came out in 2023, Hogwarts Legacy still gives you the chance to experience the magical world of the 1800s. You make friends, attend classes with your professors, and explore the areas surrounding Hogwarts. Just like Harry, you learn spells, and using those spells in combat feels amazing. The combat itself is basically a visual spectacle, because the magic looks incredible. The open world is packed with places to explore, from Hogsmeade to forests and small villages. The lighting and seasonal changes make the world feel even more alive. If you're a Harry Potter fan and you want to live in that universe, you should definitely try this. After the Harry Potter universe, let's jump into the world of Dune. When Dune Awakening brought Arrakis into gaming in 2025 as an open-world survival MMO, a lot of fans jumped in immediately, and it was actually well received by Dune fans. The desert surface of Arrakis looks beautiful, but at the same time, it feels incredibly dangerous. You're constantly walking without knowing what might be hiding beneath the sand, and when a storm suddenly hits, you're desperately looking for shelter. One of the most important aspects of the game is resource scarcity, because finding resources is genuinely difficult. The spice economy and faction conflicts add a strong political layer to the experience. Visually, the sand movement, sunlight effects, and nighttime atmosphere are so impressive that you don't want to leave this world. The RPG system blends character progression, crafting, and world interaction in a really solid way. If you love the movies, this game is definitely for you.
It was the one I found myself in. This time I'm ready.
Fallout 4. Even though Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 are also amazing, Fallout 4 is my recommendation, especially since it was the most content-rich Fallout game before Fallout 76. When it released in 2015, the Commonwealth felt incredibly immersive. You're in a post-war Boston, exploring ruined streets, abandoned buildings, and underground vaults alongside your dog, while creating your own story. There's something to discover everywhere. The VAT system still adds tactical depth to combat, and the settlement building system lets you create and protect your own towns. If you like post-apocalyptic atmospheres, you should absolutely play Fallout 4.
Look out, Arisen! We're under attack!
Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 does something most open-world RPGs don't. It throws you into the world with almost no hand-holding. At first, you'll be surprised by the lack of fast travel, but that's completely intentional. You have to be careful on every journey, and at night, enemies become even more dangerous. One of the best systems in the game is the pawn system. These AI companions actively help you in both combat and exploration, allowing for tons of different strategies. The class-based combat system is incredibly diverse. Playing as a mage feels completely different from playing as an archer. You can easily spend hundreds of hours experimenting with different builds. The massive boss fights feel similar in scale to Monster Hunter, delivering a really satisfying experience. The game forces you to travel on foot, but that actually leads you to discover even better places. In terms of giving players true freedom in an open world, this is one of the boldest designs of its time. I'm pretty sure most of you have played Skyrim at least once, but if you haven't, let me know in the comments. I'm actually curious how many of you there are. This game absolutely deserves its place on this list. Even though it came out in 2011, people are still playing it today, and the amount of content feels endless. Some players have spent thousands of hours and still haven't finished everything. Some people play it just for the atmosphere. Others mod the game and turn it into something completely different. Watching a dragon in the northern mountains, getting lost in a cave, or chasing a random treasure map, it all still feels incredible. And honestly, playing Skyrim on a rainy day with a cup of coffee, that's a whole different experience. Every region has its own climate, culture, and geography. The RPG system is skill-based, and every playthrough feels different. Even the vanilla version still looks great, but with mods, you can turn this game into something truly insane. Avowed. A lot of people are sleeping on this one. Since its release in 2025, Avowed has been shaping up to be a really strong first-person open-world RPG. It takes place in the world of Pillars of Eternity, carrying over its political and cultural depth. The living lands are carefully designed and invite exploration. Combat is real-time and layered. You can seamlessly switch between magic, swords, and bows. The companion system is meaningful, and your choices genuinely impact the world. The map isn't massive, but it's dense. Every area is packed with content. And the best part, your decisions actually matter. Dialogue choices lead to real consequences that shape the world around you. If you've been missing a classic RPG experience, you should definitely give Avowed a shot. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now let's head back to ancient Greece. When Odyssey came out in 2018, it looked incredible, and honestly, it still does. You start as a mercenary and build your own legend. The world is massive. You explore islands with your ship, travel across regions, and take part in large-scale battles. Compared to some of the other games we've talked about, the story feels more immersive. You really live the character. Combat is fluid and skill-based, and the build variety adds even more depth. From coastal cities to Sparta's plains and scattered islands, exploring this world is just fun. Visually, the oceans, sunsets, and architecture were already impressive back in 2018, and they still hold up today.
Tamed Alien World is home to diverse biomes.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is probably one of the least known games on this list. It originally released on Wii U in 2015 and later came to Nintendo Switch in 2025, but we still need to talk about it. You play as one of the last survivors of humanity on an alien planet, exploring a completely unfamiliar world. The scale and biodiversity are insane. Massive creatures, different climates, and constantly expanding areas create a non-stop exploration loop. Once mechs are introduced, the game changes completely. Areas that took forever to reach on foot suddenly become accessible by flying. Combat is real-time but command-based, offering deep class and skill combinations, and even the music alone is worth experiencing. The soundtrack by Hiroyuki Sawano is incredible. Honestly, there aren't many games that combine RPG depth and open-world scale this well. Dragon Age Inquisition. Released in 2014, Dragon Age Inquisition was BioWare's biggest leap into the open-world RPG space, and it paid off by winning Game of the Year. You step into the role of the Inquisitor during a massive crisis, building and leading a growing organization, and honestly, that premise alone is already enough reason to play. But what truly elevates the experience is the scale of its world. The game is divided into multiple regions, and each one carries its own atmosphere, its own conflicts, and its own story. Back in the day, I easily spent hundreds of hours just exploring everything it had to offer. One of the standout elements is the faction system and diplomatic decision-making. You're not just fighting enemies, you're actively shaping political power and alliances. Combat can be played either tactically or in a more action-oriented way depending on your preference, which adds flexibility to the experience. Visually, for 2014, the PS4 and Xbox One versions delivered one of the best environmental lighting systems of that era. Even today, the game still looks good. The only real downside is that the controls feel a bit dated, but despite that, it's absolutely worth trying.
I'm yearning and earning.
Released in 2025, The Outer Worlds 2 takes everything the first game did and pushes it even further, introducing a new narrative universe, new colonies, and a completely new protagonist. This isn't just an action RPG, it's a deeply choice-driven experience. Every dialogue branch, every decision you make has political and economic consequences that ripple through the world. The world design is significantly expanded compared to the first game. You're exploring multiple planets, each with its own unique climate, culture, and population, and honestly, exploring these massive massive worlds is one of my favorite things in gaming. The build system has also evolved, combining skills, perks, and weapon modding to create genuinely different character types. Another great aspect is the game's tone. Even while dealing with heavy themes, it never takes itself too seriously. That balance between humor and depth makes it stand out. It might not be for everyone, but there's definitely an audience that will love what it offers.
And the final hours of my life.
Oblivion was already a great game, but Bethesda decided to bring it back with a full remaster, offering a completely refreshed experience. Originally released in 2006, the game was rebuilt in 2025 using Unreal Engine 5, and the result is honestly incredible. The green fields of Sarodiel, the Imperial cities, and the underground dungeons now look completely different with this new visual technology. While the core design and soul of the game remain intact, its visual identity has been fully modernized, making it feel like a brand new experience. The original freeform class system, dialogue structure, and quest design are all still here, and they still work. That sense of mystery when opening Oblivion gates or stumbling upon a hidden monastery during a random journey still hits just as hard. The RPG systems may feel simple by today's standards, but for those who experienced Oblivion in its time, it's nothing short of magical. If you want to experience one of the most classic RPGs ever made, this is a great choice.
Almost clear. Go!
Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 had a terrible launch, but today it's on a completely different level, especially after the Phantom Liberty expansion. It has evolved into what many would consider a 10/10 experience. I actually replayed the game this year, and Night City is easily one of the best cities ever created in gaming. There's a story waiting at almost every street corner. Some people say the city feels empty, but honestly, that atmosphere is part of its identity. One of the strongest aspects of the game is the flexibility of the main character, V. Whether you play as a netrunner, a heavily augmented combat specialist, or a street-smart hybrid, each build feels genuinely different, and you can respec your build whenever you want. Your choices shape the story in meaningful ways, leading to multiple possible endings depending on how you play. Hopefully you'll find the good ones. Visually, with path tracing support, the game has become one of the graphical peaks of the genre. This is absolutely a must-play. Outward doesn't try to make you a hero. Released in 2019, this game, developed by Nine Dot Studio and published by Deep Silver, delivers one of the most realistic blends of open-world survival and RPG mechanics you'll find. You can enter a cave, and if you die, the game doesn't end, but your position and inventory are heavily affected. This punishment system makes every decision meaningful, forcing you to think carefully about every move. The magic system requires preparation. You need to gather materials, set up rituals, and only then can you use your abilities. The world is designed to be traversed on foot, and that journey is intentionally exhausting, but that exhaustion makes discoveries feel genuinely rewarding. Visually, it's modest for a 2019 game, but highly atmospheric. Fog effects and limited nighttime visibility create a survival experience that feels surprisingly real. Chronicles of Myrtana. Chronicles of Myrtana started as an independent Gothic fan project and somehow evolved into a full-fledged game. It takes place in the world of Gothic 2, and it directly carries over that series' atmosphere, design philosophy, and mechanics. This isn't a big AAA production, but very few games manage to capture the true essence of Gothic this accurately. You begin your journey in the northern regions, starting from a prison, and as you progress, the world slowly opens up. The deliberately challenging progression system from Gothic is still here. Every NPC feels like a potential threat, and you constantly have to stay alert. Side quests are another major highlight. They're not just filler, they tell their own standalone stories, often just as engaging as the main narrative. What really stands out is the level of care the community put into this project. Every village has its own culture, and every NPC feels unique. Visually, for an indie project, the environmental detail and atmospheric lighting are genuinely impressive. If you're a fan of the Gothic series, and you're looking for something new, this is an easy recommendation. Forspoken. For a lot of people, Forspoken had a rough launch, but there are definitely elements in this game that deserve recognition. You play as Frey Holland, a character who gets transported from modern-day New York into the fantasy world of Athea. And here's the key point. The combat system and movement mechanics are genuinely worth talking about. The game combines magical parkour with real-time combat in a way that feels unique. Sprinting, jumping, and chaining spells together creates a fast, fluid, almost kinetic gameplay loop that you don't really see in other RPGs. The world of Athea is also deeper than it first first appears. Different sorceress rulers influence different regions, giving each area its own distinct atmosphere. The world is large and exploration consistently rewards you. From a visual standpoint, for a 2023 game, the environmental detail and spell effects are impressive, especially during high-speed movement, where the screen is constantly filled with effects and motion. Honestly, finding another game with this kind of movement system is very difficult.
Monster Slayer they's talking about in the village. That monster trouble.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I know a lot of you were waiting for this one, and yeah, of course it had to be on this list. When The Witcher 3 came out in 2015, it completely raised the bar for open-world design. There's a reason I personally spent over 300 hours in this game. Every region offers a completely different feeling. An abandoned village, a lonely fisherman by a lighthouse, flowers placed beside a grave. Everything feels meaningful. While the main story is strong, the real power of this game lies in its side quests. Some of them are even deeper and more impactful than the main narrative. And you absolutely should play the expansions, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone. Combat might feel a bit clunky at first, but once you get used to it, it becomes very satisfying. If you're new to open-world RPGs, this is easily one of the best starting points.
Humanity has always hunted for knowledge in the unknown.
Starfield. Starfield launched in 2023 as Bethesda's big statement in the space RPG genre, and it definitely split the audience. Some people loved it, while others didn't at all, mostly because many were expecting it to be Skyrim in space. But that was never really the goal of this game. Planet surfaces are procedurally generated, but the settlements and main story locations are handcrafted. That balance is important because the core experience focuses on exploration and player freedom. The space travel and ship customization systems are incredibly deep. You can completely redesign your ship from scratch, and honestly, that alone is a whole game within the game. The build variety is one of the widest in the genre. Whether you focus on combat, exploration, or diplomacy, each playstyle feels genuinely different. The game constantly gives you freedom in how you approach situations. Visually, it's a strong-looking game, and more importantly, it delivers one of the best senses of exploration you can find in an RPG.
Have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, and if anyone...
Kingdom Come: Deliverance II. When Kingdom Come: Deliverance II released in 2025, it was widely praised, and in my opinion, it was one of the best games of the year. I'm pretty sure a lot of you will agree with that. The game takes everything the first title did and pushes it even further. You play as Henry in medieval Bohemia, managing not just combat, but also politics and everyday life, and that combination is what makes it so engaging. There are no dragons, no magic, no fantasy elements at all, and that's exactly what makes the game stand out. Its realism is its biggest strength. The combat system is heavy and takes time to learn, but once you master it, the satisfaction is unmatched. NPCs follow daily routines, and who you are and how you behave directly affects how they treat you. It makes the entire experience feel closer to real life than most RPGs. The quest design is another highlight. Most problems have multiple solutions, and each solution leads to different outcomes. If you're looking for a historically grounded open-world RPG at this level of realism, there really isn't another option like this. Final Fantasy XV. Let's be honest, Final Fantasy XV still looks incredible, even though it came out almost a decade ago. It brought a fresh perspective to RPG design. The story follows four friends on a journey, exploring both the world and their relationship with each other. The dynamic between Noctis, Ignis, Prompto, and Gladio is the heart of the game, and it's what makes the experience so memorable. The combat system is highly enjoyable, blending movement, magic, and positioning in real time. It creates a fast, fluid experience that feels very different from traditional RPG combat systems. The open world, set in the continent of Lucis, is vast and visually impressive. From mountainous regions to dense forests and ancient ruins, every area feels worth exploring. And honestly, exploration alone is a strong enough reason to play this game. If you're looking for a solid RPG experience, this is easily one of the best options out there.